Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Andrea, a London-based fashion photographer, and sometimes I'm a street photographer. And so before in this video, I would like to talk to you about my street photography and how I love street photography more than any type of photography that I've done. And yeah, just kind of like talk to you about how I shoot street photography, show you some examples of my street photography, and yeah, just hope you enjoy it. But before we get into this video, please subscribe. It will be amazing and it will really help me. And yeah, if you like my videos and want to see more, please subscribe. I started in photography by shooting street. So I'm not gonna like talk a lot about my journey because I've done a video with that, so I'll put it in the description down below so you could see exactly my journey into photography. But I started by shooting street photography. This was something that I liked because I was working around London and I liked like different people, different backgrounds, different kind of like the landscape a bit as well, like just the street, you know, the street vibe of London. London is such a vibrant city and so many things go on that I just loved that. And then I was traveling. So I went to like Portugal, I went to Italy, I went to France, and I really like to shoot. That was at the time when I got my camera. So when I first received my digital camera, it was exactly at the time when I was doing these travels. So I got it and I was super excited and I just wanted to use it. So I was taking a lot of street photography back then. The moment when I decided to be a photographer and was in the US, and there was when I shot a lot of amazing street photos, and one of my best street photos were shot there as well. But yeah, so I just wanted to tell you about how street photography is so important to me because it's something I like so much. I know I'm a fashion photographer in London and that's my job in terms of like that's the thing that just helps me survive, basically, fashion photography. And I love doing that as well. I love being creative and I've done a lot of client shoots and personal shoots that I absolutely love in terms of like fashion photography. But when it comes to street photography, it's just something different, like something else opens up and clicks. And one of like my favorite photographers are always the street photographers. Apart from, I have a couple like fashion photographers that I like, but in terms of like street photographers, I have so many that I like. He's my favorite by far. I was obsessed with his work when I started in photography. I was constantly looking to see how he shot and just trying to get inspired by that. And then Joel Meyerowitz also, he's amazing, and I like his work a lot, especially because he shot a lot in the US. Also I like Vivian Mayer. She's an incredible photographer. She was an incredible photographer, she was an inspiration, and the fact that only her photos were discovered after her death, that's like, wow, you know, like she wasn't, because like no one knew she was a photographer. Like when she was alive, she was a nanny, and then later on someone discovered her film roles, and then published, and yeah, her photos were incredible. There's more and more street photographers. I don't want to get into like I don't want to make this video about street photography. I want to make it about how I shoot street photography. I'll do another video if you want me to talk more about street photographers and that inspire me, or just photographers in general that inspire me, so let me know. But in terms of street photography, what I like most about it is the freedom that it gives you. So you're on the street and you can just do whatever you want. You're there with your camera and you can just shoot away. No one is bothering you, it's just you. Basically, it's like a meditation. It's like meditation. It's you and you're entering that space of mind that, I don't know, nothing in my life gave me that feeling. When I shoot fashion photography, it still gives me that meditative state. But when I shoot street photography, I think it's just different because it's just me there. Like for example, if you shoot fashion photography, you have to direct the model, you know, you change makeup, change styling and everything. But when you're on the street by yourself, it's you control it. You just walk around, take photos of what you see, so you're in the moment. So I think that's really important for me, because I have for example, I have anxiety, and I have like been struggling with it for a while. But when I'm shooting street photography, and when I'm shooting in general, photography for me is a cure to that. So that's how I found out when I started shooting photography, specifically when I started shooting street photography, that it did that to me. And I entered that meditative state. I could never do meditation. I mean, I've tried a couple of times. I know it takes a while until you get there, but I think for me, photography is my meditation, and especially street photography, because you can be in the moment. You are in that moment, and you capture it, you know, like you see it in front of you, life goes on in front of you, but you're there, kind of like capturing that, you know, like it's in, I don't know how to explain it until you do it. It's really hard to explain, but basically you're in the moment. You see something happening in front of you, which is people going on about their normal life. Everyone, I don't know, someone having to get to work, someone just walking around, admiring the city, or loads of scenarios, and then you just capture that, and it's just there, you know, you like capture it in time. It's like a memory, it's like a history being made, or like, I don't know. So yeah, for me that's what I discovered. And at the beginning when I was shooting, I didn't know how to shoot at all in terms of like settings and everything, so I was just feeling the shot. I was just using automatic on my Canon 70D, and I was just shooting like that. But I was feeling the photo in terms of like, I knew how that photo should look, how to capture the emotion. That's what it is, the emotion. I'll show you some photos from Portugal. That was my first trip after I received the camera. So I took some really nice shots that I really like in Lisbon. That's where I went. I know I went there for like 2 days, but I just loved it, and I just was so happy because I could see, like, you know, things in a different way. Like before I had the camera, I was shooting on my phone and I didn't see things the way I saw when I had the camera in my hand. Like I could see everything. I was just like this, moving. Oh, there's that. Oh yeah, over that. Oh that. Oh, I was walking, and I was just like, I don't know. I was just part of this whole like. I was part of life, you know. I was in the moment, celebrating being alive and taking photos of what I saw around me, and that was fantastic for me. Then after Lisbon, I went to Paris just for the day. Like we left with my friend in the morning and came back in the evening. And again, I'll show you some shots here. Again, I was just completely obsessed with the fact that I now could see everything in such a like different perspective. I went before to Paris and I was shooting on my phone, and again I think even then I was taking some shots, but more of like architecture. Like sometimes I would take street photography with my phone, but this time it was just, I was obsessed. So I'll show you some shots here of my trip to Paris. It all happened in like 3 months. All these trips happened in 3 months. That was exactly when I got my camera, and I went to just travel, just for a bit, just here and there, not long times. So as you see, I stayed 2 days in Lisbon, 1 day in Paris, and then for New Year's Eve I went with my friend to Rome. And again I was obsessed with it, and all the people and just everyone. Like I have an obsession when it comes to street photography to people who are dressed really like cool, in the sense of like, you know, retro, vintage, something that looks cinematic to me. I'm obsessed with cinematic, like retro vibes, cinematic. I like that. So for me it's important, especially I like when I find, you know, old people dressed in long coats and hats. That's something I'm just crazy about when it comes to photography. If I see someone in a long coat, I'm like, I need to see where I could like take a shot, and like I can put that person in, you know. So I follow them. It's like, okay, now it's perfect. The shot in my head, it makes sense. So yeah, I like that. But yeah, just people who are cool and show an emotion, you know, not necessarily cool, you know, like define cool, like people who are interesting, who have an emotion in their eyes, in their expression. And sometimes I shoot people from the back. I don't even shoot their faces because I get so scared, so I don't want to like annoy people or to make them feel like, oh, I'm too intrusive, you know. Although, like for example, there was a street photographer, I don't remember his name now, but he was the kind of person who would just get the camera and put it in your face and kind of like flash it in your face, and it was like, wow, because he wanted to surprise, to get like that annoyance of people, or people being mad about like, what are you doing? So I can never do that. It's not something I can do. I just like to be like kind of like there in a corner or somewhere and just observing and then taking the shots. Like, I don't like to be intrusive. I just want to like everything that goes in front of me to just happen. I don't want to, you know, like when it's a storyline and then like you don't want to like see someone's life, for example, and you don't want to interfere to like change stuff, because then if you interfere and change, then things that should happen then don't happen, and you know what I mean. So I just want to like observe from afar and just see everyone kind of like going about their lives and what they want to do and how it happens, you know. Don't want to go in and interfere and then I get up. So I like to observe. I'm an observer when it comes to street photography. So I do that. So sometimes I shoot from the back because I feel more confident than seeing someone's face, because they look at me sometimes when I shoot and I'm like, oops, no, they saw me. It's like, oops, busted. But yeah, it just depends on how you feel. Everyone is different now, so everyone finds their own like inspiration and what makes them comfortable as well, no? And then after that, I went to New York and Boston, and New York is wow. For me, when I was walking in New York, just everything was cool, everything was interesting, everything was fantastic. I was looking around me and everyone was interesting, everyone had an emotion in their eyes, everyone, I don't know, I just saw a lot there. I don't know why. For me, I mean, London is the same. I shoot in London a lot, but because I live in London and because I do fashion photography in London, sometimes I forget that London is such a cool place, such an amazing place to go and shoot street photography. There's a lot of interesting locations and also like people that just you see on the street that are so interesting. So sometimes I forget that, because you know, when you live in a place you get bored of it. You're like, yeah, I live in London. Yeah, not much to do. You know, like, because you live there, so you get bored of your surroundings. And when you go to somewhere else, then it opens up more. So being in New York for me made me like, wow, I was obsessed again. So I'll show you some photos here, some of my favorites. They are very cinematic. I just like to play with colors there. I think there's a lot of colors when you shoot street photography. And of course I like to shoot black and white as well. Like, I'll show some black and white street photos here, if you want to see, because I've done some black and white photography, and sometimes I like shooting black and white because it's more, I don't know, some photos that just look better in black and white. So and back then when people started shooting at the beginning, I think Andreea Impressioni, he only shot in black and white. Don't think if he shot in color much, but most of his work is black and white. So yeah, so that was New York, and I loved being there. It was magical. One of my favorite straight shots was created there, so I'll show you here. Because New York, I went in February, so for me, seeing people in long coats is yay. It's like winning the lottery when it comes to straight photography. So of course everyone was dressed in long coats, everyone was like dressed for winter, and just like that vibe. And New York is so vibrant, people are rushing everywhere. It's like London, but more, I think, in terms of like rush, and everyone is kind of like loads of people. London is the same, but I think New York is on a bigger scale than London, a bit bigger. It's not a big difference between them, but I think it's different cultures, different. I mean, it's more history in London than in New York. In New York, it's more like the culture, the US culture, you know, and every movie you've seen, like I was obsessed to go to New York since I was a kid, because every movie you see where it shows New York, or you know, like you want to go visit. So yeah, for me New York was amazing, and I want to go back there because I think it's probably my favorite. It's my favorite city from what I've seen so far. So of course I haven't been in I've been in Europe and then the US, and that's it. I haven't been many places. So for me at the moment New York is my favorite. I really want to go back to US to shoot again in New York, and also I want to go to other places like Chicago. I think would be very interesting for street photography, and of course other cities to explore. But yeah, and then I shot some street photography that I shot in London. I show it here where I shot in London, because I've done some in London. I don't think enough. Like, I've been living here for 6 years and I still need to do more. I should do more. Maybe I'll make it a task every couple of weeks to go out and shoot street photography. So I need to do that. And then I also shot in Italy. I've done some street shots there. You can see here more black and white. I think I've done more black and white in Italy. Also in Romania, when I went recently, I showed you in my vlogs. I've done some street photography there when shooting film. There's definitely more to come in terms of my street photography, because I want to do more. I feel like I need it, you know. Shooting fashion photography is amazing, and I love to do it. Like, I do it every day. But when it comes to street photography, for me it's like it just helps me to be creative. So if I'm stuck in my fashion photography and I'm like, I'm not really happy with how my photos are at the moment, I'm a bit stuck, I don't have inspiration, I lack inspiration, I need to do something about it, then I go to street photography, and that's when things change, and I'm like, okay, well, I have more ideas now. So for me, street photography is always gonna be the place where I get my inspiration when I feel stuck. Although I do other, like I watch movies, or I listen to music, or I do other, look over books, or just go walk on my own. But street photography is always gonna give me inspiration, because you get inspiration from the world. So when you go outside and you see what's happening around you, you know, because at the moment we're so like we're on our phones all the time, on our laptops. We don't really stop and look around. Like, every time I walk on the street, I see everyone is looking down, like on their phone. Like, no one is looking up. Look around you, you know, look at what's happening. So I think for me, street photography makes me go to that meditative state and be like, okay, well, I need to look what's happening around me, and how the world is changing, and how nature is looking, and just how this can bring my inspiration alive. Because the inspiration can't come from your phone, you know. It comes when you need to do a shoot and you have a specific theme and you go look for photos, yes, of course. But when you want to create something and feel more deep of a connection, you know, with yourself, you go out in the world, no, to explore what's around you and actually look at what's around you. So for me, that's what street photography is, and it will always have my heart, because I can never, like, for me, maybe fashion photography sometimes it's more like a job as well, in terms of, like, you know, I do this because I have clients and I have to do this, so it's more like a job. And maybe street photography makes me be free, in the sense that I feel like I can do anything with it, and no one, like, it's just me and being in the world and shooting around me. So I will always love street photography, and yeah, I need to shoot more and show you more. So maybe I'll take you on a day with me out in London shooting street photography and see how it goes with my film camera. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to show you a bit of my street photography, and just share with you why it's so important to me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll come back with more videos next week. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want to see a specific video, if you want me to do a specific video, or let me know. I'll happily respond. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video next Thursday. So for now, I'm doing 2 videos per week, so it's Thursday and Sunday at 5 p.m. London time. So yeah, if you want to keep watching, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next Thursday with a new video. Thanks so much. And yeah, bye bye.